Alright. Looks like my phone is froze up again. Alright, there it goes. The screenshot on the front of this is from Natalie Bollinger. That was from the 15th, I believe, of December of 2017. This is about 2 weeks before she got her brains blown out. Anyway, she was wanting to meet up with me to stop all the crazy. All of the crazy was coming from her. All of it. Every fucking bit of it. Every goddamn bit of crazy that I had to deal with all started with Natalie fucking Bollinger. Every goddamn bit of it. For over a year before Natalie was fucking killed, I had to fucking deal with that shit. Over a fucking year before she was killed. Where were my friends and family? They were too busy getting fucking drunk, too busy getting stoned, too busy getting fucked up on meth. After Natalie was killed, you guys want to send me back to these people? Well, don't you have any friends or family? Not that actually fucking care. None of them gave a holy fucking goddamn before Natalie was killed. Same as they don't give a fuck afterwards either. They pretended to care because they could take advantage of me. I know a lot of women who have kids who don't know how to wipe their own fucking asses, for Christ's sake. Most of the women I know are neurotypicals. So, just like neurotypical males, they're fucking liars. They're liars. They will lie to you to manipulate you to get something out of you. Something that they could just ask. Most of these people, they got the same issue that I do. Nobody in their fucking corner. Most of them had the chance to have me in their corner. I'm still in Claire's corner. Well, not hers, but her kids. The way that she ended up getting screwed over, it's not okay. But you know what? Between working together with me to put a stop to it, or taking advantage of me, she chose to take advantage of me. Every occasion where she was going to help me, it ended up being me running errands for her, and then she would show up at random. Now, I know why she did these things. She showed up at random instead of making an appointment like she should have. She wanted to show up at random while I was busy and then dominate the conversation. For example, me and Miss Scudder were over there at the Fred Meyers. We were going to make important phone calls, and we were waiting on a very important phone call that never happened. The lady never called back. We had to call her several times, and the lady still never called back. However, Claire showed up. Now, she was already on her way out of town. She didn't want to be in that town. Well, this town. She was here in Tillamook. She didn't want to be here, especially after they fucking stole her kids and fucking sent them to Florida. Hell no. Boulder, Colorado did the same thing with Christopher Weaver's daughter. It's screwed up. They force her into homelessness and then say, oh, well, she's not a fit parent. She's homeless. Not fucking okay. But this isn't about Claire and her kids, is it? This is about Claire screwing me over. Well, no, it's not. It's absolutely about her kids. It's absolutely about her. It's absolutely about them getting screwed over. I'm not making excuses for the horrible shit that she did to me, though. What I'm doing is stating the facts. when Claire showed up, and well, this is one of the few chances that Miss Scudder had actually taken to actually, hopefully, hear what I had to say and make these calls with me. Claire showed up, and although it was nearly impossible to get either of those women to actually listen to me, they were both fine with sitting there and chatting for probably a good 30 minutes. Like, hey, this is not helping me at all. Now, Claire said that she had showed up to help me. I'm like, all right, if you're here to help me. But she wasn't there to help me. She was there to talk about her because she wanted money, because she wanted to leave. She wanted to go see her kids, and that was her ultimate goal. But you don't go fucking cheating people. You don't go screwing people over and taking up their precious time to do that. The people that I'm angry with are people that either A, promised to make the time, or B, were fucking involved. If you were involved in the situation and you didn't come forward, you're a complete and total fuckhead. With the situation with Natalie, there's a lot of people who are involved who just wanted to, oh, well, if we ignore it, then it's fine. If you just ignore it, it goes away. No, it fucking doesn't, stupid. But you didn't want to fucking listen to me. None of you wanted to listen to me. You're all too selfish and too into lying. You're all pieces of shit. Now with Miss Scudder, that one opportunity was a very missed opportunity, not just because the lady who was supposed to call us didn't call back. It's also the fact that Claire wasted a lot of time that I could have been explaining my situation to Miss Scudder. That's why Miss Scudder was there, to help me. For Claire to claim that she was going to come help me and then she showed up and just wanted to dominate the conversation, no, that's not okay. You want to help getting your kids, then you fucking ask. We will set up a time to help you. No matter what, you're always going to interrupt my time to make it about you. And we have taught all women to do this. A man is expected to drop everything at a moment's notice, and a woman will schedule an appointment for, well, if she's not actually intending on helping you, she'll leave it open-ended. That right there is where you need to be an intelligent person and start dropping off your friends like fucking flies. If you were just raped, and you came to me because you were just raped, I'm going to offer to help you to turn it in. That's what a good fucking person does. Offers to help you turn it in. Offers to help make sure that you can safely do so. Those of you who are pretty and live in houses, you got no fucking clue what you're talking about when it comes to police. You people fucking hate us. When you guys want the cops to do something about us, their idea of doing something about us is beating us up or fucking arresting us or shooting us. So maybe you should pay closer attention. Now, that wasn't the only time Claire wanted to pretend like she was going to help me in exchange. Nope, she called me another time because she was having problems with Casey. She was still in Oregon, and she couldn't get out of Oregon, and she wanted money. Well, she ended up picking cans up to get out of the state. At least she got out of the state, and at least she didn't waste my time or money anymore. However, the big issue there is that she didn't let me know that she was okay. She called me up, said that her and Casey were having a problem, that she needed to get out of the state. God damn it, stop! I'm trying to clean the screen on this, but it won't stop turning back the fuck on. Fucking A! Did it again. Maybe that'll work. Anyway, Claire, I met her over at Fred Meyer's. No, I met her over at Lillian A. Goodspeed Park. And she was staying out at Helping Hands. They were supposed to be helping her. She was complaining about the fact that most of the people there were heroin addicts and she wasn't getting along with them, and she was trying to, but they were just bringing her all sorts of fucking crackhead drama, and the staff weren't listening. She also was getting in trouble. She's supposed to spend $400 a month to stay there. Then she has to spend all this time going to these meetings in order to stay there. And then she also has to volunteer time there. And the time that she volunteered there apparently wasn't good enough. It wasn't the right kind of volunteering for them. Then, of course, people wanted to be rude with her laundry, so I met her down here. And she was complaining that night. Recorded on my channel. I've also met her several times over there at the Fred Meyer's because she was staying there for a few nights. She was telling me, you know, I let her know about my issues, and she wanted to make it about her, as most people do. They make it about themselves. If you were just raped, do you need people to tell you about themselves, or do you need to turn in the fucking rape? Women do not treat men with equality. Women treat men with disdain. We're fucking pocketbooks. Claire was finally going to help me, and I showed up, and instead of her helping me, her and Casey were busy going through a mating ritual. And he was busy cracking jokes at literally everything that I said. Like, hey, Casey, this is some pretty important shit. By that point, Casey had already fucked me over at least 4 different times. He did finally go in once to talk to the people at CARE with me, but he wasn't interested in talking to the people at CARE. He was interested in getting a fucking sleeping bag. He wasn't trying to help me. He was trying to get a sleeping bag. So when I went and saw Claire and she was with Casey and they were doing that, yeah, that fucking really fucked my shit up. Like, here I am wasting my fucking time, and now she's gonna be wasting her time with Casey, who's a fucking time waster. Yes, he'll fucking talk about it, but he's gonna crawl off in the bushes, do some fucking meth, and then come back. And then he's gonna slink off and do some more meth in the bushes and then come back. He's always got to go see someone. The person he was going to see is Brian. That's because Brian had access to drugs. Now there's a big difference between Casey and Claire. Claire doesn't do drugs. Casey just wanted to pretend he doesn't do drugs after he realized I record everything. Now, on multiple occasions when I was supposed to get help from Claire, instead of getting that help from Claire, what did I get? I got her pawning me off on Casey. Casey would say, oh, I'm sorry that happened. Like, hey, you know what? The issue here is with Claire. Maybe Claire should address this issue. And they kept sending me back and forth because Claire was going to help me, and then Casey was going to help me, and then Casey didn't show up, and neither did Claire, so nobody shows up. And then, of course, it's easier to apologize afterwards, isn't it? The help that Claire wanted, Claire would have gotten from me immediately. She didn't have to try to scam me. She didn't have to try to pretend like she was going to help me. All she had to do was say, my kids. Now, I offered to help her the way that we all need out here on the streets. If you go in by yourself, you're fucked. And she said she understood that. And then she dropped me off by myself to do something that she was going to do with me, so that she could go do something by herself that she knew was a bad idea to do alone. So she wasn't using her fucking brains. Then there was the day that they were finally going to help me, and Casey needed stuff done with his battery, and Claire needed stuff done with her battery. So I went and I charged up both of those batteries because both of them told me that they needed their batteries charged so they could help me. So I charged up both of their batteries. I spent the whole day running around and doing that shit while they were busy hanging out and doing the mating ritual. Meanwhile, she was going through the mating ritual on that for the same reason she was pretending she was going to help me. It was a means to an end. She wanted to get her fucking kids back. She needed to get the fuck out of this state and get to her fucking kids. That was her end goal. What's your end goal? What's your end goal? To stop the fucking abuse, always. When you make the excuse of you can't save the whole world, bitch, you can fucking try. One person at a fucking time. Between Claire being up as a missing person for 6 months and her saying, hey, I'm not dead, I'd much rather hear that she's not dead. Now, the things that she promised and didn't follow through with, I know what was going on at the time in her life. I know why she was doing what she was doing. I know that she didn't have the intention of actually helping me and following through. She couldn't. Her mind was on her kids. Her mind was on getting her kids back by whatever means possible because she's a good mother. Shitty friend, but a good fucking mother. If I had a mother like Claire, I wouldn't have grown up in the fucking system. Claire is a badass. Yes, she did bad shit to me. And no, I'm not saying that it's okay to do that bad shit, because here's the thing. She didn't have to scam me out of anything. She didn't have to make empty promises to get a goddamn thing out of me. I understand kids. Kids make a lot more fucking sense than adults. Kids are generally more honest than adults. Claire didn't lie to me because she's a chronic liar. She lied to me because that's what you have to do in the system. You kids are in the system. You have to jump through hoops. You have to say the right things to the right people. You have to manipulate people into doing the right thing. This is a blonde-haired, blue-eyed white girl we're talking about here, too. There are 15 services out here for her. For every one co-ed service. Co-ed means that it's for both men and women. What Claire had to say about the drug addicts out there? Well, she's not the only one. Here's the thing, when people have a life of their own and their entire life now has to be surrounding this facility that they're staying in, their whole life has to surround that situation. I get $822 a month in disability money. If I was to pay to stay at that place, I'd be spending half of my check to be there. Plus, going to drug and alcohol meetings, even though I don't mess with drugs or alcohol. It's required. You got to do that 4 times a fucking week. 4 times a week. That's 8 times in 2 weeks, 16 times in a month. Then you got to volunteer to do, well, they're not chores. It's not chores. What Claire had to do with the laundry, she shouldn't have had to do that shit. That's not a fucking chore. That's a full-time goddamn job. There's another lady who's trying to get back in there. She's been visiting with me a little bit, and I'm in town again today because she's going to meet up with me, and I'm going to get to teach her a little bit about autism. It'll be just going up there with 2 phones. That way I can show her why I'm overwhelmed and how overwhelming it is, and that it's not something you can just blow off. The thing with Claire, she's autistic too. She's got Asperger's, which means she's highly intelligent. That's generally what it means. Having Asperger's is automatically going to put your IQ at about 120. Yeah, that's a lot smarter than most. Right now, there's a lot of people trying to get it changed so that people like me, who are not retards, aren't treated like retards. That's how parents of autistic children who are low functioning treat their children, like they're retards. It's even worse when they're immodal, which means that they can't speak. For a lot of us, we're harmed to the point that we can't speak. Or we're talked over until our words don't come out right, and then magically we're bad guys because you twist our words into something they ain't. Or you lie about the scenario and magically it's okay. This is why I record everything. Because you guys are liars. Now with Claire, there's at least 7 or 8 occasions where, well, she didn't keep her word. Now the whole time that I knew Claire here, she only drank once, so far as I am aware. After her and Casey and the battery thing and me trying to explain over and over again about the computers, and they want me to do a bunch of electronic shit that I'm not able to do and don't have the facilities to do, and they're not hearing a goddamn word I'm saying, but they're promising me if I go up the mountains, they'll listen to me up there. So when I get up the mountains, Claire is very much all up in her own feels. And we agree because it's always her turn to talk. She always makes it about her. So we agree that first, we're going to let her do her speaking first. She gets to address her issues, and then I get to address mine, and we will work together. Well, the problem is, while she was telling her story, she was busy drinking. Then, when she was done drinking, well, she wasn't done drinking, there was still booze, but she was drunk as a fucking skunk by the time it came to be my turn to talk. And then she just talked over me because she was drunk. She was going to talk to me the next morning. Well, I get up the next morning and she's leaving. That's what I woke up to, her leaving. She was fed up with Casey. I blame Casey for the things that Casey did. Casey didn't screw me over as bad as Claire did, but he did kind of screw me out of Claire's existence too. Because while she was supposed to be helping me and we had set up a time to do it, he was wanting to make jokes and put on his macking skills, which he kept on doing. You know, after I brought them back their batteries, they both used up the batteries and then wanted me to do the battery thing again the next day. I said, hey, you know what? I have to do something to take care of myself. I've set aside over a dozen days between the two of you for help that I haven't received. And over 3/4 of those days, I ended up helping you guys. So what gives? And this isn't including just the interactions that we had, you know, when me and Claire met at the Lillian A. Goodspeed Park, that was just an interaction. The situations with her over at the Fred Meyers are just interactions. It's not, well, it was always me trying to get help, but with Claire, she wanted to do the whole strong, independent woman thing, back and forth between that and the, hey, I really need help, and the, oh, well, I'm a strong, independent woman. I really need help. I'm a strong, independent woman. I really need help. And back and forth and back and forth. When it came to getting her kids back, I was totally down with helping with that. And I still am, although she's got her kids back. However, she's in Colorado, and Colorado is even worse about human trafficking of children than Oregon is. And yes, that is what it qualifies as. It is human trafficking that they were involved in here. Multiple agencies took part in that human trafficking, and by law it is human trafficking. We have people who are locked up in prison who used to be police officers for exactly this type of human trafficking, the same type of human trafficking that Christopher Weaver had to deal with. But you also have to get a judge who's not going to be a rubber stamp for law enforcement. And good luck if you're homeless or broke. If you're homeless or broke, they're rubber stamps for each other. Now, rubber stamp is a generic term for basically they'll give you what you want. Kind of like if you try to turn in Officer Scott DaCosta. Sorry, Sheriff Scott DaCosta. All Scott DaCosta's got to do is take you to a hospital, tell the hospital you're schizophrenic. The hospital writes it down as if it's the truth. Destroys your name. This is why forcing a person to turn in their predators, literally to their predators, is immoral and illegal. Nebraska State Patrol repeatedly told me it wasn't their job to investigate Scott DaCosta. Well, it absolutely is. They just didn't want to do their fucking jobs. We got people like Claire who just wanted to get her kids back. The thing I'm pissed off about is that she didn't have to lie to me to get my help. Matter of fact, being honest with me would have worked out a lot better for her. And for the most part, she tried to be honest, but when it came to actually helping me, no, she wasn't. She didn't show up there with Miss Scudder, or the days that I had Miss Scudder there to help me. Claire didn't show up there to help me. She showed up there because she was hoping that I would give her some money, and she was going to leave town with it immediately. Then when she called me when she was in a different part of the state, she was thinking about coming back here because she knew that I had money that I would pay her for help. She was going to do just enough to get paid and then disappear. And thank goodness she thought otherwise of that. She also blocked me on Facebook, like, right afterwards. Wasn't answering her phone either. So, of course, the last time I spoke with Claire before she disappeared, she was telling me about problems she was having with Casey. Being stranded and still not being able to go see her kids. And she was going to call me back, and she never did. So yeah, that set up a bunch of red flags for me. Now, Claire had a history of not following through or misleading the situation. And her motivations are understandable, aren't they? I personally believe they are. A lot of y'all have done some very underhanded shit to get your kids back. A lot of y'all have done very underhanded things to make sure somebody else doesn't have access to your kids. I know a lot of women who made sure that, well, if they don't get their kids, nobody's going to have their kids and the state will take the kids. I know a lot of women who've done that. The if I can't have them, nobody can thing is more of a woman's trait than a men's trait. That's because we teach women that they can get away with it. We teach men that if we just believe that he might have thought about it once, that he's a horrible, misogynistic, woman-hating, rapist and killer. What the fuck is wrong with you people? Who's the person who screwed over Claire? Was it me? Or was it her ex? It was her ex, but not just her ex. It's also the state of Oregon and her former landlord, threatening to shoot her in front of her kids. Her landlord was threatening to shoot Claire. So yeah, I am definitely on Claire's side as far as that goes. Claire did a lot of fucked up shit, and she's not the only one who did that fucked up shit. I don't expect Claire to be an honest person. As an autistic person, she's prone to being honest anyway. She's been taught that she has to lie to get help. Apparently I wasn't smart enough to take it out of gear, and I tried to run myself over. Maybe that'll work. Yeah. I just forgot to take it out of gear and ran myself over a little bit. Yes, ma'am. Thank you. Anyway, a lot of people promised to help me, took advantage of me, took my money, wasted my time, gave me empty promises, and then afterwards, oh, my kids, my kids, my kids. Don't hide behind your fucking kids. Claire wasn't hiding behind her kids. 100% of her motivation was about getting her kids back. That's a completely different story from the situation with people like, well, like Mandy Hughes, Mandy Singer, Amanda DeMette. Lots of people. Lots of people wanted to hide behind their kids. Leslie Snell, after she committed felonies against me, wanted to hide behind her kids and pretend she was afraid for her kids. There's a big difference between her and I. She does have to be afraid for her kids. I'll admit that straight up. Yes, Leslie Snell has to be afraid for her kids. She has to be afraid that when she and her husband go to prison, that their kids are going to go into the system. So yeah, she does have a legitimate fear. She just doesn't have a legit fear of me hurting them. Leslie Snell knows that I'm not out to hurt her kids. She had to fucking lie, and she had to work together with my other predators. It is a conflict of interest for me to be forced to go to the Dual County Sheriff's Department about anything, but by illegally preventing me from turning in reports against them, because all these state patrolmen would do is lie to me about whose fucking job it is. God damn it! When you say, oh, well, why didn't you turn it in right away? I fucking did! I made literally hundreds upon hundreds of phone calls because the crimes never stopped. Not one goddamn friend gave a fuck. What they cared about was taking advantage of my measly fucking disability check. So no, these are not my friends. No, they don't have a right to privacy. They don't have a right to keep their fuck-ups a secret. Every one of them had the chance and opportunity to do the right thing. And when they want to be angry at me because I showed that I did the right thing and nobody else wanted to do their fucking jobs, that was it. It is absolutely the fault of people like Veronica Bruce, a.k.a. Veronica Seward, a.k.a. Missy Bruce, a.k.a. Missy Seward of North Platte, Nebraska. It is absolutely her fault that Natalie is dead, but not just her fault. It's also the fault of many, many, many others who chose to get fucking drunk or fucked up on drugs instead of doing what a friend would do, which is help stop the abuse right away. But no, they expect you to drop everything you're doing right away when they have a problem. But when you have a problem, it's always an open-ended fucking line of bullshit, isn't it? Took me damn near 3 weeks to get Miss Veronica Bruce to actually talk to me like I'm a human being before Natalie was killed. And then she didn't. Instead, she called me up and she was fucking shitty because she was fucking drunk. And then she threw a tantrum because I said something about her being drunk. And then, of course, her daughter wanted to get a hold of me this week. Wanted to get a hold of, well, it might have been last week. Wanted to get a hold of me and say, oh, my mom's not an alcoholic. I didn't say your mom was an alcoholic. I said she was drunk, stupid. With Claire, did I accuse her of being an alcoholic? No, I said she was drunk. That night up in the mountains, she was drunk. By the time, all right, so when it was my turn to speak, and it was her and Casey, they just pawned me off back and forth. When it was my turn to speak with Miss Scudder, that's when Claire showed up and wanted to do all the speaking herself. Nothing about my situation. So although Miss Scudder was there to help me, she wasn't able to help me because she was busy interacting with Claire. Although Claire was supposed to be there to help me, she wasn't helping me because she was busy talking about herself. Up in the mountains, same thing. Those of you who are parents, hopefully you understand Claire. Hopefully you understand why she did the underhanded shit she did. Hopefully you understand why I want Leslie Snell and Clint Snell in prison. But I want Claire to have her kids. And I want her to be safe. By the way, she's in Larimer County, Colorado. To give her the mentally ill bullshit, they'll send her to Johnstown. The cops already know that Johnstown was committing felonies the same way that Clearview did, because it's exactly the same facility and most of the same workers. See, here's the thing, is that we're denied the rights of disabled people because we're intelligent. We're denied the rights of intelligent people because we're disabled. Meanwhile, the disabilities that we have are PTSD, and our interactions show that. Long-term abuse. Claire went through it. I went through it. A lot of people went through it. A lot of those people use their trauma as an excuse not to help anyone else, but they still want others to help them. Well, hold on a second. If you're going to be a selfish piece of shit and take advantage of other people who are going through hell, that kind of makes you a piece of shit. Now, there's a difference between taking advantage of a situation that is there for you to take advantage of. Like when someone says, hey man, if you got to get to your doctor's appointment on Wednesday, yeah, I can't drive you there because I got to work, but the spare car, I'll park it outside of the garage, you can drive that. You know, you're in a situation where you need help. That person is providing you with the help that you need. Even though they're not able to be there, they're helping you to make sure you get to your appointment. And it's probably a good idea for you to take advantage of that situation because that's what it's there for. That is specifically there for you to take advantage of it so you don't miss your appointment. And the person that you asked for help is specifically setting it up so that you can take advantage of the fact that he or she has a spare car that you can use and it's got some gas in it. That's completely different from, oh, well, you know, I really want some money. I want to dip out of town. I want to dip out of town today, and I need money today to leave town. Otherwise, I can't leave today. So I'm going to go take advantage of Sean, promise him that I'm going to help him, and hopefully he slides me some money that I can go waste. That's not always getting wasted, is it? Claire would have used that money to leave town. Yeah. But she did leave town, and she did so without taking all that money. Without taking advantage of me like that. Yeah, Claire did a lot of illegal stuff. She took advantage of another at-risk adult so that she could achieve her personal gains and personal means. She lied about the situation to do so. That's a completely different type of taking advantage. When you say, hey man, I'll help you. But then you just have that person run a bunch of errands for you on the days you're supposed to help them. You're not helping them, you're taking advantage of them. Kind of like Amy and Andrew Witcher. Wanted to get all fucked up on drugs. Wanted to have me babysit. Wanted to promise me that they would help me a day a week each if I watched the kids for a day a week. For each of them. So 2 days a week, I'm supposed to watch Amy and Andrew Witcher's kids. And one of those days of the week, Amy's going to help me. And one day of the week, Andrew's going to help me. But every time it turned out that as soon as Amy got off of work, there was some drama with Andrew and his fucking meth bullshit. And it ended up being me babysitting 5 days a fucking week. To never get that help. Of course I felt taken advantage of because I was taken advantage of. Randy Ingersoll did the same thing. Of course, Randy Ingersoll was beating on them kids. They weren't even her kids. I made 3 anonymous calls. Turn that in. And then I made 3 calls that I made live on fucking Facebook. Live on YouTube. And then, when that didn't work, I ultimately had to break the law. You're damn right. I am proud of myself for breaking the law when it comes to protecting children. When it comes to what was done to Claire and her kids, you're goddamn right I'm willing to break the law. You goddamn right I'm willing to commit fucking felony. You don't fuck with kids. See, that's what makes most of these women such disgusting people. Most of these women who got involved in this situation did so knowing that they had kids, wanted to abuse their kids, and then wanted to hide behind those kids again as their excuse for taking advantage of me. Oh, Sean, it should be okay for me to take advantage of you. I have kids. It should be okay for me to lie to you. I have kids. No, it's not. It's not okay for me to lie to you. If you're afraid for your kids, you tell me you're turn it in together. If that's not what you're doing, then you're playing fucking head games. No mother is going to hide like a rat while that shit's being done to her kids. Which shows me that every one of these women who told me that their children were at risk, that's what showed me that their children weren't. That they were just taking advantage of me. Someone threatens my niece, I speak up immediately. Somebody threatens my friends, I speak up immediately. Someone threatens my family, I speak up immediately. Someone threatens kids, I speak up immediately. Immediately. When someone goes missing, I speak up immediately. Immediately. I don't make excuses in 6 goddamn years. Anyway, I'm gonna spend money I don't really have to spend because I'm fucking hungry. I do have some snack foods in my car, but I definitely need to eat something healthy. There's a big difference between what Claire did and what a lot of other people did. Because Claire didn't do it out of malice. She didn't do it to try to hide her crimes. She didn't do it to try to hide her involvement. In her situation, everything really legit was about getting her kids back. It's also about how you neurotypicals have trained her. You've taught her that if she's honest, she's just going to get talked over, ignored, and bullied. But if she tells the right lie, you might listen. Now, to all the people that I stayed with, why is it that never once was I ever accused of molesting any of them kids, raping any of them kids, or beating any of them kids? Not even once. Now, why is it that many of those people that I stayed with had meth convictions and child abuse convictions? It's called child abuse. Why is it that I have Amy Witcher's words about Andrew Witcher molesting her daughter? Because those conversations actually happened, and I actually recorded them, and they're actually up on YouTube. When it comes to Claire, she's in a very scary situation. She's in Larimer County, Colorado. This is where Clearview is. Boulder County will ship you into a different jurisdiction when you try to turn in their officers. That's Boulder's MO. All cops are bad. All of them.